Shalom, business. This is your brother Yahweh Bob. I want to give all honor, glory, praise to Yahweh, Shem Yahweh Shai. Peace, salutation to the hopeful elect scattered abroad across the four quarters of the earth. Let you teach you this gospel of truth and sincerity. Shalom. Today I want to go over adultery, just to know the differences of it. Just a little Yahweh Razal. This is edifying. Just a little just some milk, just a little milk lesson. Because we got to know the differences between this. So you don't slip up in this walk. So let's see, Deuteronomy chapter 5, verse 18. Neither shalt, let's start at 17, thou shalt not kill, thou shalt not commit, neither shalt thou commit adultery, neither shalt thou steal, neither shalt thou bear false witness against thy neighbor, neither shalt thou desire a neighbor's wife, neither shalt thou covet thy neighbor's house, his field, or his manservant, or his maidservant, his ox, or his ass, or anything that is thy neighbor's. This is Moses letting us know, you can't covet after your neighbor's wife, or anything that he owns, that because you don't want anything your brother wants, or it's lucky that he has. You don't want to be jealous over what he has as well. You don't want to envy your brother. Because he's at the end of the day, you can't desire someone's wisdom as well. This is just we're just vessels of Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai, preaching this word, hoping to seal that last servant so we could get out of here. Because that's what it's all about. This is a spiritual battle, and we're trying to make it out. Yahweh Razah. Every day we're fighting the good fight of faith. That's why it says it's a fight, because it's a spiritual battle, fight a good warfare. Yahweh Razah, we make it. So you don't want to commit adultery, and going all these things you don't want to do. What I was just reading, you don't want to bear false witness, because that goes into you being a liar as well, and then that makes you have a bad reputation. You lost that good report. Like I said on the block, a good name is more precious than ointment. Roughly paraphrasing. This is what you want to have, that good name. So when you stand against Yahweh Shai on the day of judgment, you stand worthily. Roughly paraphrasing in the book of Luke. So let's get to. And you shouldn't commit adultery, because that's against Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. That's going into loving thy neighbor as thyself. You wouldn't want to do that to your brother in the faith, in the walk. Even people in the world wouldn't want to do this as well. This is Leviticus chapter 20, or lie to him, any of those things, because if people, about karma, it's, Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai, you reap what you sow, Says Leviticus chapter 20, verse 10, a man that committeth adultery with another man's wife, even he that committeth adultery with his neighbor's wife, the adulterer and the adulteress shall surely be put to death. So this is the true definition of adultery. If a man has a wife and another man lay down with his wife, it's not adultery. If another man lays down with that wife, it's not, because if she doesn't have a husband, then it's not adultery. So this is the true definition right here. So you're seeing, like, if a man lays with another woman that does have a wife, that is adultery. So that's the difference right there. If a man lays down with a wife that doesn't have a husband, it's not adultery. But if a man lays down with a woman that does have a husband, it is adultery. So that's the difference right there. And because if a man, having that wife, and lays down with another man's wife, that's a married woman. So that's what it's getting into, So that's why it's adultery, because he laid down with a woman that has a husband. So that's where the adultery comes in, and that's why the adulteress shall be put to death. The adulterer and the adulteress, because the wife didn't let him know, or like she consented to it basically, because she didn't tell him. So there's nothing wrong with having many wives. We see an example, Isaiah 4:4. It's seven women shall take hold of one man. Seven for completion. And also like Solomon. He had 1,000 wives. So we see examples in the Bible. We haven't reached to Isaiah 4 yet. But we know it's coming. The con. So yeah, it's not committing adultery if as long as they're not married. The man can lay with that woman. If she's married, then that's where the adultery kicks in. And yeah, like with Solomon, he wasn't committing adultery when he got these wives, and that's a perfect example. When he went off is when he started worshiping those gods, the from his heathen woman that he was with. That's when Yahweh Shem Yahushua was mad with him. And we know Solomon was Yahweh in reincarnation. Yahweh ended up getting it right though. He fell with Adam, he fell with Solomon, but he ended up getting it right when he came in Yahweh. The perfect form. That second Adam. He came back right, and he bared the cross, man. He was about his Father's business, and that's what we're about right now, our Father's business. Doing the will of Yahweh Shem Yahushua. And Khan. That's what led when Solomon went off. That's what led to the kingdom being split. In Khan, we see that it was the curses as well. That's what led to the curses. Roughly paraphrasing, it tells you when you byword and proverb for if you went off, and he went off. Khan, so it all led to the four beasts, the captivities. Leading into we're in that Roman revised empire right now. All roads lead to Rome. This is Rome all over again. So yeah, that's why you gotta know the difference between committing adultery or not. That's why if she doesn't have a husband, and then it's green light. If you it's not adultery. So the opposite of that would be if she does have a husband, you can't lay with her because that's adultery. And people, you don't want to slip up on this. Like David with Bathsheba. He slipped up, he committed adultery. And if he wanted a wife, all he had to do is tell you how about Shem Yahushai, and he would have got one. Because that's what Yahweh Shem Yahushua told him. So that's why it's not good to transgress. So transgress. Yeah, I'm saying this wrong. Transgress. It's not good to transgress because you can't. A lot of people don't understand this stuff. That's why they err, not knowing the scriptures. So let's get the book of Romans. Chapter 7, verse 1. Know ye not, brethren, for I speak to them that know the law, how that the law had dominion over a man as long as he liveth. So it's getting into that the law was an agreement with us, Israel, the Israelites. Salakia. That's what married us to Yahweh Shem Yahushai. So if we go off and worship other idols, it's called a spiritual fornication, like in the Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 14. Verse 12, and adultery and fornication, they go hand in hand. So that's what it's like. It's the same thing basically, and that's why. So you commit spiritual fornication or adultery if you worship other idols. So this is Romans chapter 7, verse 2. For the woman which hath an husband is bound by the law to her husband so long as he liveth. But if the husband be dead, she is loose from the law of her husband. So as long as he's alive, she is bound to that law to be under him and be married. As long as she's married to him, she can't go and get another man. That's what that's getting into. Con, because that's part of the law, and but if he died, then she's loose from the law, like it says. But if the husband be dead, she is loose from the law of her husband. So we see that's how she would be loose from the law if he passed away, and then she would just be known as a widow, So verse 3. So then if, while her husband liveth, she be married to another man, she shall be called an adulteress. So we see that's what would go on if she while her husband's alive and she lies with another man, because that's what marriage is. Marriage is by laying with one another. Exodus 22:16. Marriage is by sex. So that's how she would be known as adulteress. So that's why you have to know the differences between this, because that's why she would be called an adulteress. So I'm continuing. But if her husband be dead, she is free from the law, so that she is no adulteress, though she can be married to another man. And yeah, that's what that's getting into. So because if her husband be dead, she's free from the law. So it's not adultery, because that's what it's getting into. Get in the NLT for edification's sake. So while her husband is alive, she would be committing adultery if she's married to another man. But if her husband dies, she is free from that law and does not commit adultery when she remarries. So yeah, when she remarries, she's not committing adultery. As some woman wouldn't like Judith. She just never got with another man. She because that's what it's getting. That's an example. That she just loved the man so much she just stayed a widow. She never a widow like forever, basically. She never got with another man. She never got married with another man, like other great women as well. They just didn't desire another man, So let's get this one real quick. It's the book of Hebrews. Let me get that one in Hebrews. Chapter 13, verse 4. Marriage is honorable in all, and the bed undefiled, but whoremongers and adulterers, Yahweh Shem Yahushai, will judge. So that's what we see right there, It's as long as a man is with a woman and she's not with the man, it's undefiled, because like I was saying, that's not adultery, So if he could have as many women as he wants, five, 5 women, that's fine, because it's as long as he's going off the way to go, the protocol, based off the commandments through Yahweh Shem Yahushai and through his law, through the law. He comes in the volume of the book, so he's not going off if he's following the way, So like going into that whoremongers and adulterers, Yahweh Shem Yahushua will judge. That's what's going to happen in these last days when Yahushua comes. They're going to get judged for what they have done. He's going to handle them. Adulterers, a man or a woman. Whoremongers, those are known as pimps, and that goes for both sides. We see women doing it as well, and and they even got OnlyFans and stuff too. So you're getting, there's just a lot of ways that women can pimp you out, and because they'll play you too. That's what that goes in with that OnlyFans. They're really playing you out your money, and it's like men that pimp women, they do that just to get money out of you as well too, you know. So that's why in a whoremonger is someone who has it's not like it's some whoremongers, like I said, it's in those pimps, like cause yeah, they're really playing you, you know, just having you do whatever they say, you know, and getting money out of you. And you know, someone who, it's not someone who has a lot of wives, you know, because as long as she's not married, it's not a sin. So that's not what a pimp is, you know, because he could have as many as women he wants if she doesn't have a husband. Salagia, you know. So Khan, you have to know the differences on that, you know, and the more wives you have, the more headaches you will have. You know, you'll have trouble in the flesh, as Paul said, you know, roughly paraphrasing. So, Khan, and you also have to take care of her needs, you know, like it says in the book of Sirach, you know, the basic needs, Khan. And you know, it also says it in 1 Timothy chapter 5, verse 8. But if any man provide not for his own, and especially for those of his own house, he had denied the faith and is worse than an infidel. So yeah, you've denied the faith and you're worse than an unbeliever if you don't provide for your own house, you know. You know, and for any not of his, for his own, you know. So if you're not providing for your wives, the more wives you get in this walk of faith in Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai, you know, and then you're going against Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai, and you've denied the faith, and you're worse than an unbeliever. And when the scriptures say to be that, you know, and when Paul says that, you know, it's okay to be with an unbeliever, you know, it's talking about when you walk into this truth. It's not talking about, you know, like you could if you come into this truth and you're single, it doesn't mean you could get with the unbeliever, because as the scriptures say, you know, be not yoked with non-believers. So you got to know the difference between that. You know, Paul goes over that as well in the book of Corinthians. So yeah, you got to have the understanding on that. Come on. 1 Corinthians chapter 7. Let me get verse. Yeah, we can start at verse. Let's start from the top. Now concerning the things whereof wrote unto me, it is not, Saki, it is good for a man not to touch a woman. Yeah, he's saying that, you know, just because that's where temptation comes in if you touch a woman, you know. So yeah, he goes more into it right here. Nevertheless, to avoid fornication, let every man have his own wife, and let every woman have her own husband. Let the husband render unto the wife due benevolence, and likewise also wife unto the husband. Yeah, so that benevolence, that's what we want to have in these last days. You know, that if you have a husband, you know, if the woman has a husband or the husband has a wife, you want to have that goodwill and kindness towards one another, you know, because if you don't have that, it's not gonna work out, you know. Verse 4: the wife hath not power of her own body, but the husband, and likewise also the husband has not the power of his own body, but the wife. Defraud ye not one another, except ye be consent for a time, that ye may give yourselves to fasting and prayer, and come together again, that say and tempt you for your incontinency. So you can't, you know, like, so it's getting into, like, you don't want to hold your sexual desires from each other, you know. You want to pray and fast, you know, and come together again, you know, to be on, because you're one flesh with your husband or wife. That's why you don't want to you want to be able to give each other your needs for your when you want to have that sexual intimacy, You know, that's those, when you have that itch on it, it's gonna want to get scratched. So that's why you got to fast and prayer to come together again. Let sin tempt you. Let's get that in the NOT. Do not deprive each other from sexual relations unless you both agree to refrain from sexual intimacy for a limited time so you can give yourself more completely to prayer afterward. You should come together again so Satan won't tempt you because your lack of self-control. So yeah, you want to have a self-control on this, and to be able to control this and handle it by fasting and praying. That's why fasting and praying is important, you know, and you don't want to deprive each other from your sexual relations, you know, unless you both agree to it, you know, for a limited time, you know. So it's just, you would have to get back to it as a husband and wife, you know, as one flesh, you know, because you know, the desire will come in. So I'm gonna get verse 9. Well, yeah, I'll start at 8. I say therefore to an unmarried and widows, it is good for them to abide even as I, you know. So he's saying, Paul's saying, like, I'll start at 7. For I would, start at 7. So like, yeah, I'll just go from 6. But I speak this by permission and not of commandment. For I would that all men, even as I myself, but every man hath his proper gift of Yahweh Shem Yahushai, one after this matter, and another. One after this and another, Salakia, and another after that. I say therefore to the unmarried and widows, it is good for them if they abide even as I. So Paul's even saying, like, if you can, you know, be unmarried, like how he is, you know, because Yahweh Shem Yahushai had Paul all about the church and the ministry being an example. You know, it wasn't on his spirit. His Holy Spirit gave him the strength, you know, to do this. You know, like in that verse 7, he's just wishing that the people in the church of Corinth, you know, that it's not bad, you know, because we all have gifts. That's what he's going into, you know, the gifts. Like, but I wish everyone were single, like I was saying, you know, but each person has a special gift from Yahweh Shem Yahushai of one kind or another. You know, that's why I said, that's why he said he wishes all men were like himself, you know, that weren't, because he wasn't married. So he's saying he's wishing that everybody was like that, you know. And the point is, like, every man hath his proper gift, you know. So both marriage and celibacy are gifts from the Holy Spirit, from Yahweh Shem Yahushai, you know. So you know, it's just, yeah, like that celibacy is like not having sex, you know. You're celibate. So like that's, so verse 9. But if they can't contain, let them marry, for it is better to marry than to burn. Yes, it's better to marry than to burn. You know, that's why if you can't contain, it's good to find a wife, but she has to be a believer and then walk Yahweh Shem Yahushai. Verse 10, and unto the married I command, yet not I, but the Lord, let not the wife depart from her husband, but if she depart, let her remain unmarried, or be reconciled to her husband. Let not the husband put away his wife. So you can't. That's what you don't want to do. You know, you don't want to put her away. You know, you want her to be reconciled back to her and back to him. Salakia. So yeah, this is like that verse 10. You know, you as well, you don't want to let the wife depart, like I was saying. You know, because, you know, if she departs at that time, you know, with that itch to want to, you know, have those sexual desires, you know, and that husband's not around to fulfill that, you know, then she's gonna have that temptation and go ahead and do it and fulfill her desire, And then she commits adultery. I'm going to read verse 11 again. And if she depart, let her remain unmarried, or be reconciled to her husband, and let not the husband put away his wife. So yeah, if she doesn't remain unmarried, she becomes an adulteress. So that's why it's important she gets reconciled back to her husband. Because that's how it will save the marriage, and she won't commit adultery. So if you get married, you got to stick with it as well. Like you said, like I said, Salaki, Exodus 22:16. Once you lay with that man, or once that man lays with that woman, it's marriage. So you got to choose wisely. In this walk, because you got to stick with her, and you guys are one flesh. So you can't leave each other whenever you feel like it. Whenever times get rough, you can't just leave, because if another man comes into that's confusion. You're not supposed to be doing that. Let's get this example. So I'm gonna say 1 Corinthians chapter 6, and I'm gonna start at verse 13. Meats for the belly, and belly for the meats, but God shall destroy both it and them. Now the body is not for fornication, but for the Lord, and the Lord for the body. If God had both raised up the Lord, and will raise up and will also raise up by his own power. Know ye not that your bodies are not know ye not that your bodies are the members of a Mashiach? Shall I then take the members of a Mashiach and make them members of an harlot? Yahweh Shem Yahushai forbid. What? Know ye not that which is joined to an harlot is one body? For saith he, shall be one flesh. But he that is joined unto the Lord is one spirit. Flee fornication. Every man that sin, every sin that a man doeth is without body, but he that committeth fornication sinneth against his own soul. What? Know ye not that your body is the temple of the Holy Ghost, which is in you, which ye have of Yahweh Shem Yahushai? You are not his own. Yeah, so our temples are our body. The temple of the Holy Ghost, because we got that Holy Ghost in us through Yahweh Shem Yahushai, through the water baptism. We got this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, which we're thankful of and we don't take for granted. The water Yahweh Shem Yahushai for another day to be here and to be alive in this walk, and to have a chance at eternal life. To try to make our calling and election sure. And that's why you don't want to be one flesh with an harlot, because you're one spirit with that woman. And that's why you don't want to, because our body's a temple, so we have to treat it like a temple, and we can't get with the harlot, because we know that a harlot, she wouldn't be a believer as well, because she's going against the doctrine, and it leads into fornication if you're with the harlot, because that's why Paul said flee from a fornication, and you're committing fornication against your own soul. If you're with that woman, you're one flesh with her, so you're one flesh with the harlot. So you're not truly in the true spirit of Yahweh Shem Yahushai. So if you're with a harlot, you have to put her away. You can't stay with her. Once she commits adultery on you, you have to put her out. If not, you're one flesh with her. Because Yahweh Shem Yahushai, he shall destroy both it and them. So that they're going to get destroyed, like I read in verse 13, because we're the members of a Mashiach. So Yahweh Shem Yahushai forbidded this, that we be members of an harlot, so we got to set the example and not do that. You're contrary to the doctrine if you're not taking heed to that. So I'm going to get Jeremiah chapter 3. In verse 20, surely as a wife treacherously departed from her husband, so have he dealt treacherous with me, O house of Israel, saith Yahweh. So a wife is not supposed to depart from her husband, but in certain cases they do so. So when it happens, they're supposed to remain unmarried, unless they get reconciled back to their husband, like what we read, what Paul said, get reconciled. Because, they're going to have that temptation when they go through that, when they leave their husband, but they're supposed to go be reconciled back to him to get that scratch from the husband, it's because they're going to be itching for it, and that's why that links up with 1 Corinthians 7:5. That's why I read that, because you got to fast and pray unless Satan, comes in and destroys it, So Khan, and you can't say a man can't have as many the wives. He can have as many wives as he wants as long as she doesn't have a husband. So Khan. So I want to get to the book of Malachi. Salakia, bear with me. It's Malachi chapter 2, verse 14. Yet he say, wherefore, because Yahweh had been witness between thee and the wife of thy youth, against whom thou hast dealt treacherously, yet is she thy companion, Salakia, yet is she thy companion and the wife of thy covenant. So yeah, like it's getting into like that you don't want to put someone away, like because someone like his wife, you put that wife away, you can only do it by adultery, as the scriptures call it, fornication, like I said, but it goes hand in hand, so Yahweh Shem Shai doesn't want you to do that, because it causes confusion, and like scripture say, Yahweh Shem Shai is not the author of confusion, and it opens up the door for adultery to come in, and that's when Satan comes in, man. And that's why a lot of Satan's over a lot of households, so he doesn't want you to put away your wife. If to the best of your ability, don't do that, So Khan, I want to get into Matthew chapter 19, when these wicked Pharisees and Sadducees, had that conversation with Yahweh Shem Yahushai, with Yahweh Shai, Khan, start at verse 4. And he answered and said unto them, have ye not read that he which made them at the beginning made them male and female, and said for Salakia, and said for, where's that at? And Salakia, and said, for this cause shall a man leave his father and mother, and shall cleave to his wife, and they twain shall be one flesh. And they're asking, that's like this was Yahweh Shai speaking, No, I mean this is the Pharisee speaking, but I meant like that they're asking about this one flesh. That's what it's getting into. Wherefore, they are no more twain, but one flesh. What therefore God had joined together, let no man put asunder. So yeah, it's getting into like that one flesh, like I was saying. So wait, is this? Yeah, this is Yahweh Shai speaking. I was right, my bad, Salakia. Yeah, because this is what Yahweh Shai, that's what I thought as well, This is what Yahweh Shai said back to them. Because I don't have the red letter on here, so it kind of throws me off sometimes. But yeah, like that's what Yahweh Shai responded to them, Because that's why he said, haven't you read the scriptures? Yahweh Shai said and replied, they record from the beginning, and God made them male and female, because they don't read the scriptures, That's why it's good to get in the NLT. These Pharisees and Sadducees, they had the book, but they don't truly read and understand the scriptures, So Khan, it's in like yeah, like verse 6 again, I'll read it. Wherefore they are no more twain, but one flesh. What therefore Yahweh Shem Yahshai had joined together, let no man put asunder. It's just getting into like that one flesh again, like I read what Paul said, in 1 Corinthians 6, that they're one flesh because they became bonded, because like once you lay with that woman and your seed goes into her, you have a spiritual connection with that woman. She took on your spirit, so you're one flesh, through that sex. Con. So verse 7, they say unto him, why did Moses then command to give a writing of divorcement and to put her away? He said unto them, Moses, because of the hardness of your hearts, suffered you to put away your wives, but from the beginning it was not so. So yeah, that's Yahweh Shai letting them know. That's what he said unto them. Moses, because the hardness of your hearts, suffered you to put away your wives, but from the beginning it was not so. So that's what it was going. That's what Yahweh Shai was going into right there. That you were not supposed to divorce your wife, but because you were stiff necked and and don't want to listen, and you're wicked, that's why it had to happen. Because that's why they wanted to go get another woman, off being in the flesh, not being a spiritual, because they had the desires, to put away a woman to go get another one, and that's wicked. You're supposed to stay with that woman, Come on. Yeah, and like I was saying, like if you have 2 or 5 women, you're gonna have more trouble in that flesh, because you have to provide more for him, like I brought out in the First Timothy, because it tells you in the book of Sirach, you gotta provide for that woman, a roof over a roof over her head, and her needs. You gotta provide for her needs, the the raiment, and the food. You gotta provide for all that. Yeah, because even if you have one woman, you're still gonna have trouble in the flesh. But if you have more than one woman, it's gonna be more problems. Like how it says, more money, more problems. It's just be like more women with more problems. But if you can handle it, it's through the grace of Yahweh Shem Yahshai. And that's why. Yeah, like if you have more women, you're not going to be as diligent as you were from the beginning of this walk, because let's say you got 5 women, how are you going to have time for the truth? Because you got to spend time with that woman, so it's just things switch up, that's why Paul said that when that precept I brought out, he said, I'd rather you not marry, because Paul was focused on this ministry. He was apostle of the Gentiles. He understood the problems that wives caused. That's why it was sent out to all the churches, and it's for us today. Romans 15:4, everything was written for a foretime for our learning. And so Paul not being married is a good example that if you're fighting that in the flesh, think of Paul. Yahweh Shai didn't have a wife as well on this walk, So you got to think of our forefathers, So let's get the book of Matthew, chapter 5, verse 31. Salaki, I'm gonna get it real quick. This is Matthew chapter 5, verse 31. And it been said, whosoever shall put away his wife, let him give her a writing of divorcement. So that was the law of Moses, because the hardness of your hearts, like what we just read in Matthew 19. So verse 32, but I say unto you that whosoever shall put away his wife, saving for the cause of fornication, causeth her to commit adultery, and whosoever shall marry her that is divorced committeth adultery. So if you put her away and it's not for adultery, that's just because you got tired of her, you know that's not the way to go, because you committed her to commit adultery, because you put her away and she went and laid with someone else when she had that desire to fulfill her desires, of her needs, because so you committed her to commit adultery, so you it's on you too for having her commit adultery, you know this was worded, to understand from that Leviticus 20:10. It's worded right with it, because we know that's what that adultery is, a man laying down with a married woman, not a man laying down with a woman that's unmarried, because yeah, as long, like I said, as long as the woman's not married, it's not adultery. So but if you do get with that woman, you're gonna have more trouble in the flesh. So let's get the example in Mark. So Mark chapter 10, verse 10. And in the house his disciples asked him again of the same manner. And he said unto them, whosoever shall put his wife and marry another committeth adultery against her. And if a man shall put away her husband and be married to another, she committeth adultery. So this is going into the same issue, from what we just read, and it's like it said in Matthew. If you put her away and you cause her to go commit adultery, it's just like that in Matthew 5:32. You cause her to do it, man. And like in that verse 12, I'll read it again. And if a woman shall put away her husband and be married to another, she committeth adultery. That's what it's saying. She commits adultery if she's married to more than one man. It's not the other way around. This is plain and simple. ABC. It's easy as 1, 2, 3. So a man could have multiple wives. That's why it's in the old and the new. Yahweh Shai reiterated it. He went into it. So I wanted to get that one. Let me look at Luke as well. Let's get that one. So look at Luke. You bear with me. So this is the book of Luke, chapter 16. Start at 14. We could start at 10. He that is faithful in that which is least is faithful also in much. He that is unjust is unjust also in much. So let's get that in NLT. If you are faithful in little things, you will be faithful in large ones. But if you are dishonest in little things, you won't be honest with greater responsibilities. So yeah, this is getting into like if you like, it goes into also if you were in the world, and if you were like, if you weren't faithful in the world, you're not gonna be honest and great with the greater responsibilities. So you got to be faithful with the little things to be faithful with the large ones. But if you're dishonest in the little things, you're not gonna be honest with greater responsibilities. So you don't want to be dishonest in this walk. So read that in verse 11, and it. So this is verse 11. If therefore ye have not been faithful in unrighteous mammon, who will commit to trust the true riches? Who will commit to your trust the true riches? Yeah, so if you are untrustworthy about worldly wealth, who will trust you with the true riches of heaven? Yeah, so like I said, going into that worldly, because if you were like this in the world, you know, that if you're if you're untrustworthy about the worldly wealth, who will trust you with the true riches of heaven? That's why I said it was going about if you were in this world, before you were in the faith, you know. So the way you were in the world, it still reflects how you were gonna be in this truth, because if you were in the world and you didn't have a conscience, if you always were not showing love to brothers, then it's gonna show in the truth, because yeah, we all some people who might have killed people, and repented and got baptized in that water and came and washed their sins away, and came into sanctification and got right, but they were probably a loving brothers, and that it was just a slip up, because it's all about how you love one another. So that's why it says, if you are untrustworthy about worldly wealth, who will trust you with the true riches of heaven? And then this, like, it goes into what Yahushua said, if you can't, roughly paraphrasing, if you can't understand worldly things, how can you understand spiritual things? If you can't understand the earthly things, how can you understand spiritual things, heavenly things? Roughly paraphrasing, because they can't. Because they're too much of this world. They haven't put on that new man. They got the love for this world. They're gonna look back like Lot's wife. Because she had great possessions in that world. She had the love for that world. The desires of what she had in that world. So verse 12. Verse 13. No servant can serve two masters, for either he will hate the one and love the other, or else he will hold to the one and despise the other. You cannot serve God and mammon. Yeah, and you can't, like, roughly paraphrasing, like Paul said, you can't sit on the cup, you can't sit on the table with devils, and Yahweh Shem Yahushai, You have to pick a side. You can't serve two masters. You're going to hate the one and love the other. That's as Yahushua is saying. You got to pick your side. You can't be yoked. You can't be yoked with them, because they don't believe in Yahweh Hashem Yahushua, we know Satan, of course, it's like he believes in Yahweh Hashem Yahushua, but how can two walk together if they be agreed? That he doesn't agree with righteousness walk, is what I meant to say. Salakia. Verse 14, and the Pharisees also, who were covetous, heard all these things and derided him. Let's get down in LT. And the Pharisees, who dearly loved their money, heard all these things and scoffed at him. Yeah, and there's a lot of scoffers in this walk today. They scoff at the truth of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. And it's all prophecy, like Peter said. And this is part of this walk. It's part of going through the refinement in the gold. Because we're really going to have to go through the refinement. Like the scriptures say, then they should know who are my chosen. Because that's all part of this walk. Verse 15. And he said unto them, ye are they which justify yourselves before men, but Yahweh Hashem Yahushai knoweth your hearts. For that which is highly esteemed among all men is abomination in the sight of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. Yeah, so that's an abomination to Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. If you're doing this, if you're justifying yourselves before men, and you're treating yourself highly esteemed above men, that's not the way to go, That's why the scriptures say, cast out your pearls not before swine, roughly paraphrasing, cast it out between dogs. Let me get that real quick. It's in Matthew chapter 7, verse 6. Give not that which is holy unto dogs, neither cast ye your pearls before the swine, lest they trample them under their feet and turn again and rend you. Yeah, because it will bite you in the back if you do that, It's going to bite you in the back and you're going to regret you did it. That's why you don't want to cast out your pearls before swine, because these people weren't worthily drinking the cup of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai worthily, You know, they weren't worthy to have this. You know, it, they yeah, Khan, because they didn't show themselves worthy. They couldn't take the burden. They couldn't handle it. They couldn't bear their cross and continue to walk. You know, daily. You know, like Yahweh Shai said, you know, bear your cross and follow me. And his burden's easy. They couldn't handle the burden. Yeah, but going to that verse 15, you know, more, it's like the Pharisees, they acted pious, you know, and then that's hypocritical, you know, acting sincere, but they're not, you know, like we could get this in the NLT, you know, it says that, then he said unto them, you like to appear righteous in public, but Yahweh Shem Shai know your hearts. What this world honors is detestable in the sight of Yahweh Shem Shai. You know, that's what it's getting into. You know, the Khan. You know, they act like that. You know, like it said. You know, they appear to be righteous in public, but they're not. They're not righteous. You know, they're those wolves hidden like sheep, like how I was going over with the brother Uremi on the block. You know, and you know, and they act like this pious hypocritical way. You know, trying to be righteous, but they're not. Trying to be sincere, but they're not. To get praise from others, but Yahweh Shem Yahshai, he knew what was in their hearts. You know, so he already knew how they were acting. He already knew what was going on from the jump. You know, they considered their wealth as a sign of Yahweh Shem Yahshai's approval, but you know, Yahweh Shem Yahshai detested their wealth, for it caused them to abandon their true spirituality. You know, the true fruits of the spirit. You know. That prosperity, you know, they thought that it would earn people's praise, but it's not a way to truly do it. You know, it's not a substitute for devotion or service to Yahweh Shem Yahushai. You know, and there's a lot of modern day Pharisees out here who try to highly esteem themselves before men. You know, you know, even if it's not even about money, you know, because these Pharisees, though, they were in the Romans way, under the Romans, you know, through captivity, and they didn't want to come out of that way through the Romans. You know, they wanted to stay carnal. They didn't want to look at this in a spiritual aspect, because they loved the benefits that they were getting from the Romans. You know, so you know, like that's what it gets more into. You know, because some things that are considered acceptable by men, you know, are hated by Yahweh Shem Yahushai. That's why he said it's an abomination in the sight of Yahweh Shem Yahushai. So you're abomination if you do this stuff. God. I'm going to continue on. In the laws, so like the law and the prophets were until John. Since that time, the kingdom of Yahweh Shem Yahushai is preached, and every man presseth into it. And it is easier for heaven and earth to pass, and the one tittle of the law to fail. Here we go again, what we was getting into. Verse 18, whosoever put away his wife and marry another committeth adultery. Whosoever marry her that is put away from her husband committeth adultery. Yeah, because that's what it's getting into. So you don't want to put away your wife and marry another, because you commit adultery. You weren't supposed to put her away. You were supposed to stay with her, you know, and then you could get another wife if she's not married to a husband. And then whosoever marry her that is put away from her husband committeth adultery, because she's supposed to stay widowed. You know, if not, then she's supposed to reconcile back to her husband. You know, that's what it's getting back into it. You know, the differences. So yeah, I just wanted to go over this, you know, for edification's sake. So let's get that 1 Timothy chapter 4, verse 3. Forbidding to marry and commanding to abstain from meats, which Yahweh Shem Yahushai had created to be received with thanksgiving of them which believe and know the truth. So yeah, this is two examples. You know, it's twofold. You know, it's to be talking about how the Roman Catholic Church, you know, it doesn't allow, you know, the priest to get married, but then we know what these they do with these little boys. You know, they have sex with them. You know, make it make sense. you know, like through our people, through captivity, you know, we were raped, robbed, and murdered, you know, so it's nothing new under the sun. They love doing this raping thing, man. You know, this is Esau Edom, the so-called white man. This is what he does. You know, he's a profane person, man. You know, as the scriptures say. You know, con. So make it make sense. You know, in the twofold. You know, this is also talking about a man that wants to marry more than one wife. You know, it can't be forbid. You can't stop that. You know, because if she's not married to another man, it can't be stopped. He could marry he could have multiple wives. You know, you can't stop this. You know, in the meat part, you know, we know that this food, you know, it's all defiled, and yeah, it probably is getting sacrificed to idols, right? But like First Corinthians 8 and 9, you know, it's like First Corinthians 8 and 10. I went over it with the brother Yeremia. You know, you can't worry about that. You know, you gotta just have you can't let your conscience be defiled on this. You know, you gotta just if you don't know that is sacrificed unto idols, eat it. You know, that's what Paul was getting into. We went over it. You know, that's why we just bless the food and make sure that Yahweh Shem Yahshua is watching over us. You know, and you know, because we can't control if it's sacrificed to all idols or not. We don't know what's going on with that. We just pray over our food and keep it pushing. And when we can only eat through the law, if they're saying anything against it, that's against the law. And let's go again in NLT for this. Then I will say it is wrong to be married and wrong to eat certain foods, but Yahweh Shem Yahushai created those foods to be eaten with thanks by faithful people who know the truth. Yeah, and that's what we're faithful people who know the truth, and we know that we got to follow the law when we eat. You know, Leviticus 11:7 says that a swine is an abomination. You know, you can't eat swine. You know, pigs, it's pork. It's pork. It's not meant to be eaten. You know. Yahweh Shem Yahushai created every animal for a purpose. You know, these pigs eat garbage. Why would we eat that? You know, so it's just you got to go by the dietary law, and it's good to know the dietary law, because if we ever get in the wilderness, you know, during Jacob's trouble, we'll know how to find a way to eat through that dietary law. You know, so that's why we eat through the law. You could eat meats through the law. We can eat beef. You know, we could eat chicken. You know, it's good to know these. You know, and yeah, like also like getting into this marriage. You know, like a marriage is something Yahweh Shem Yahushai gave them from the beginning. It's optional if the man wants to have multiple wives or not. You know, so you can't forbid it. That's if that's a doctrine you're pushing, that's false, and you got to repent from it. Let's get the book of Proverbs, chapter 6. Bear with me real quick. Proverbs chapter 6. I'm gonna start at 27. So bear with me. So this is Proverbs chapter 20, Proverbs chapter 6. I'm going to start at verse 27. You know, can a man take a fire in his bosom and his clothes not be burned? Can one go up? Can one go upon hot coals and his feet not be burned? So he that goeth into his neighbor's wife, whosoever toucheth her shall not be innocent. Men do not despise a thief if he steal to satisfy his soul when he is hungry. But if he be found, he shall restore sevenfold, and he shall give all the substance of his house. But whoso committeth adultery with a woman lacketh understanding. He that doeth it destroyeth his own soul. And so yeah, like this is it was going into, you know, like verse 27, you know, like these are comparisons, you know, used to demonstrate Salakia, you know, the folly of adultery, man. And you know, that like the first example, you know, it's going into it, verse 27. You know, it's like just as fire burns clothing, you know, and coals burn feet, so adultery inevitably brings punishment. You know, and the second one, you know, Yeah, I just read it. The coals. I just read that one. You know, and so yeah, that's that was the first example. What I read right there. Verse 27. Just as fire burns clothing, and coals burn feet. You know, that adultery brings punishment in con. And yeah, like so yeah, I went into those two examples, 27, 28, and then going into the thief part. Now that you're not going to be innocent for this, because you're touching your neighbor's wife. We went into that Deuteronomy chapter 5. You're not supposed to do this. you know you're not supposed to covet your neighbor's wife, according to the law. And also you know, men do not despise a thief if he steal to satisfy his soul when he is hungry. But if he be found, he shall restore sevenfold. He shall give all the substance of his house. So Khan. But whoso committeth adultery with a woman lacketh understanding. He that doeth destroyeth his own soul. So you're destroying your own soul as you're doing this, and it's also getting into that this punishment of adultery, is you're not gonna you're not, yeah, like I'll continue on to go into it. A wound in a dishonor shall he get, and his reproach shall not be wiped away. For jealousy is the rage of a man, therefore he will not spare in the day of vengeance. Verse 35, he will not regard any ransom, neither will he rest content, though thou givest many gifts. Yeah, so he's not going to spare in the day of vengeance. You give him any gifts or something, he's not going to be content with it, If you give him gifts, he's going to get vengeance, by blood, payback. And we see this, like a lot of men walk in and catch their wife cheating on them, and yeah, they end up killing that a man. We seen it in that movie called Minority Report. He was gonna kill that man, or even his woman. Salaki, I can't remember who he put the knife on, either his woman or the man, but it's still part of the point. He gets the payback through blood. And it's happened in this world as well. Yeah, so it's that punishment of adultery. It's unending, because this is what it was getting into. A thief may satisfy his victim with an appropriate payment, because the thief will that's how they squash it, right? But an offended husband, he cannot be bought off, and that's what we were getting into, so because once you deal with another man's wife, you cannot please him. He'll be determined to kill you and get his payback. And this all goes into the book of Numbers. Chapter 5. That jealousy feeling. That jealousy feeling. And then they would, once they have that jealousy feeling, if they didn't, because of course they didn't see her do it. They don't know if she cheated or not, but they will take her to the priest, and they'll find out by her drinking that water, to see if she's guilty or not. So she would be before the priest and see if she committed that adultery or not. So and if she was guilty, it would show, that her thigh, it would rot, So we see that happening today with women, because the thigh would rot, if she. So that's how we know if she was. That's how also they would know if she was innocent or not, because if she was innocent, then the man was just insecure. But like I was saying, if the man, if the man catches the woman and not catches her, but through the priest, they would catch her, then then that's how you would catch her, basically, is what I'm saying. It's through the priest, finding out through her drinking the water, if her thigh would rot. And so her thigh would rot. We see this today, like a lot of women being harlots, laying on man, and their thigh goes bad. Salakia, and it's all confusion. You know, this is Babylon the Great, known as confusion. You know, Babel is called confusion as well. It's all going back to Nimrod. You know what Nimrod means? Rebellion. So it's just, this is a rebellion spirit from Esau, Edom, the so-called white man, on these people today. You know, and they're not going to repent because they're blinded unless Yahweh Shem Shai blinds them, you know. Khan, we could get that Numbers real quick as an example. Numbers chapter 5. Let's start at 27. And when he had made her to drink water, like I was saying, they would drink water, then it shall come to pass that if she be defiled and have done trespassed against her husband, that the water that causeth the curse shall enter into her and become bitter, and her belly shall swell, and her thigh shall rot, like I was saying, you know, and the woman shall be a curse among her people. And if she be not defiled, but be clean, then she shall be free and shall conceive seed. So you see that she would be a curse among the people, and her thigh shall rot. This is the law of jealousies, when a wife goeth aside to another instead of her husband and is defiled. So we see this is the law of jealousies, you know, because like I said, the man would get that jealousy feeling. So Khan, you know, and Khan, because she's defiled, you know, Khan. Or when the spirit of jealousy cometh upon him, and he be jealous over his wife, and shall set the woman before Yahweh, and the priest shall execute upon her all this law. Then shall the man be guiltless from iniquity, and this woman shall bear her iniquity. You know, yeah, so yeah, we see like that's what goes on, you know, like because the man will be guiltless from the iniquity, but she shall bear her iniquity, because you know, the priest will find out if she's guilty or not, because he'll execute this law upon her. So Khan, yeah, Yahweh Radazah, this is edifying. You know, just a little back to the basics lesson, because I haven't went over adultery yet. So yeah, this is Matthew 26:6. Now when Yahweh Shai was in Bethany in the house of Simon the leper, there came unto him a woman having an alabaster box of very precious ointment, poured it on his head as he sat at meat. But when his disciples saw it, they had indignation, saying, To what purpose is this waste? For this ointment might have been sold for much and given to the poor. When Yahweh Shai understood it, he said unto them, Why trouble ye the woman? For she hath wrought a good work upon me. For ye have the poor always with you, but me ye have not always. For in that she hath poured this ointment on my body, she did it for my burial. Verily I say unto you, wheresoever this gospel shall be preached in the whole world, there shall also this that this woman had done be told for a memorial of her. And with that, I want to give all honor, glory, and praises to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. Peace, salutation to the hopeful elect scattered abroad across the four corners of the earth, learning or teaching this gospel in truth and sincerity. Shalom.